All right, welcome to another segment of Talking About Records. My name is G.I. Sanders with NTX Vinyl, and I'm going to spend the next, 20, 30 minutes or so talking about records. Specifically, I'm going to talk about my personal Pearl Jam collection. Been a huge fan since the beginning. It's not the biggest Pearl Jam collection. There are many people who have everything that Pearl Jam has released on vinyl or any format for that matter. I've got a pretty decent collection that I have wound up with over the years, and I'm gonna walk through everything I've got. So first, I think before we get into stuff like box sets and my 12-inch LPs, I figured I'd go through the 7-inch singles first. So first and foremost, we can start with probably the first 7-inch single that I ever got from Pearl Jam, and that is the Sonic Reducer and Ramblings 7-inch. This was, I think, if not the first, one of the first Christmas singles they put out. Who Killed Rudolph is the name of it. That's a 7-inch single. And then these are going to be in no particular order. I'm just going to kind of pull them out. This is one of my favorites here. This is the Merkin Ball 7-inch single, which features I Got Id as well as Long Road. This was the one recorded alongside Neil Young's Mirror Ball. They named theirs Merkin Ball, and this was a pretty popular CD single as well as a 7-inch single. So big fan of that one. Let's see what we got here. Eddie Vedder, Love Boat Captain. This was 2012. It's got Love Boat Captain Live as well as Wish List Live. 7-inch single. Let's bounce around here. Here we go, something off Backspacer. This is the Fixer and Supersonic. I think this is the black version. Let's see, I know they make a white version. Yeah, this is the black 7-inch single. Pretty sure they make a white version that's a limited edition as well. Let's see what else we got here. More Christmas singles. This is Someday at Christmas as well as Better Man. We have got Santa God and Jingle Bells. Again, more Christmas singles. If you're not familiar with Pearl Jam's Christmas singles, they've been sending them out for 25 years now, and they do that if you're in their fan club. So here is Santa Cruz and Golden State. Golden State's one of my favorite songs that they put out, one of these, originally written by John Doe. Let's see, we've got another version of a Fixer. Another version of Fixer. Maybe this is the colored one. Let's see. Yeah, it is. There we go. So I didn't even realize I had both. That's how many these I've got. So I've got the black version and the white version. I'll put that right there in order. Let's see. Coming up next, Worldwide Suicide and Life Wasted. You've got Who You Are. Love that track. Let's see. This is Christmas 1999. Strangest Tribe, great song. And Drifting, great song. That's a great single there. You've got the Bush Leaguer single off of Riot Act as well as Love Boat Captain on the B. This is a really cool one. This is the Love Reign Over Me by The Who as well as Rockin' in the Free World with Bono. Because this was in Australia 2006 when they did a couple shows together, one of which I was at in Hawaii, but that was beforehand in Australia. Hail Hail and Black, Red, Yellow. Given to Fly with Pilot and Leatherman. A couple reissues. This is one I really like. This is Unthought, Known, as well as Amongst the Waves, both live versions. I think this is a colored version. Let me see. I remember where I bought this. No, this is a black vinyl. I bought this in New York at Bleecker Street Records, which I don't believe is around anymore, unfortunately, but I remember that's where I got that one. Another Christmas single, Wishing Well, as well as Redemption Song, Eddie with Beyonce. We've got I Am Mine, as well as Down, B-side, love Down. Off He Goes with Dead Man. Dead Man was recorded for the movie Dead Man Walking. Let's see, we've got Alive with Around and Around, a Chuck Berry tune. What else we got here? We've got Save You off the Riot Act, as well as Other Side. That's a clear vinyl. We've got Wish List with You and Brain of J off Yield album. This is an old one, 12-inch single of Spin the Black Circle and Trimmer Christ. This is actually a promo copy, and I remember I bought this at Bill's Records back in the day when it was off Spring Valley and Coit. This is 99 Problems with Pearl Jam and Jay-Z. More Christmas singles. Then we've got Eddie performing Imagine by John Lennon and I think Pendulum. Is that what's on here? Yeah, Imagine and yeah, something like that. So that's a cool 7-inch single. Let's see, we're almost done with 7 inches. This is Happy When I'm Crying, which was a Jack Irons tune and an REM cover, Live for Today. What else we got? Light Years already done. Nothing as It Seems. There's a cool one. This is a colored vinyl as well. These are reissues. Some of those colored ones are. Olympic Platinum with the B-side Smile. And a couple more, we're almost there. This is Turning Mist and Hawaii 78, traditional Hawaiian song. Did we already do, yeah, I think last but not least, Dance of the Clairvoyants, brand new single that just came out. And that's the 7 inches. I've got another box of 7 inches I'll go through, but that's the majority of them right there. All right, so that is the 7-inch collection. I am certain I'm missing some, but that's what I've got. I'm sure there's some in there that I've missed. Some of the earlier ones I definitely don't have. I know Alive was obviously a big single that they put out that's got the Stickman on it. I don't have a copy of that. I'm always keeping my eye out for it. Most of the 7 inches are easiest to find overseas, so I'm always looking for those. All right, so let's go through LPs. I'll do the box sets last, which obviously is 10 versus the Vitalogy. I'll go through the 12. Oh, I almost forgot. I do have some more singles, but they're 10 inches. These are really cool. So they haven't done a ton of 10 inches with the Christmas releases. This is 2003, which is one of my favorites because it's got Reach Down that they performed with Chris Cornell in Santa Barbara, as well as I Believe in Miracles, obviously a Ramones tune. So black vinyl. I love the 10-inch releases when they do those. They haven't done that many. I'm not sure if these are the only two that they've done as far as Christmas singles. I'm sure somebody can answer that for me. And then this one is the alternate Jeremy, as well as Falling Down. And this is cool because this was recorded at Red Rocks in, 95 Red Rocks show. They haven't played Red Rocks a lot. In fact, maybe the only time on that tour, which was, I believe, the kind of the Vitalogy No Code era tour. So 10-inch singles as well, but again, you don't see many of those. So that's the 10 inches. Now, as far as 12-inch stuff goes, so there's an original copy of Pearl Jam 10. I bought this at Bill's Records, Spring Valley and Coit. So I'm happy I held on to that one. That's my personal copy. These are all my personal copies, but that one specifically. Then we've got a Newberry exclusive version of 10, Newberry Comics on Coke bottle colored vinyl. This one I've never opened because I've already got this version of 10 as well as that version, so I don't need another version of 10 open, so I've just left that one sealed. I've also got a picture disc version, which is an unofficial, but it is pretty cool, which is why I have it in my collection. It's actually a really nice picture disc with the actual album artwork on both sides, which is pretty cool. So I dig that. I don't collect a ton of picture discs, but if they're super cool like that, and if it's a band I really love, then I'm not completely against it. What we got next? Oh, this is cool. This is actually, well, we can go Versus first, so because that's a single off first. So here's my original copy of Versus. What do we have next? Then I've got a single off Versus, which is Daughter, and this is what they called a poster bag. So it is just on black vinyl. The single's Daughter, and I'm pretty sure without looking, it's Yellow Ledbetter and Blood live on the B-sides. Yeah, Blood live and Yellow Ledbetter live. This was cool back in the day because you didn't have a lot of versions being put out on vinyl as far as live stuff. And then the picture, the poster, let's see if I can get it unfolded a little bit, is a pretty iconic Pearl Jam poster that I used to have on my wall. So it's actually got tack holes in it because I had this hanging up when I was in high school, but I'm glad I took pretty good care of it. So there's the poster bag single for Daughter. I think they probably made a 7-inch version of this as well, but I'm glad I have the 12-inch version. Don't know if I don't think it's super valuable or anything, but it is very cool. That's Daughter. We go to Vitalogy next. Original version of Vitalogy. I've also got the card in here, the promotional card that I kept as well. So that's just the I forget what they call those, the cards. Then we've got No Code after that, obviously. So this is my original version of No Code. I'm not going to open that up. It'll take me all day, but that's got the original postcards with all the lyrics and stuff. So I love that one. No Code is probably, believe it or not, my favorite Pearl Jam album. It came at a time when the band had obviously just released 10 and Verses and even Vitalogy and were huge, and the band completely retreated. And then they put out what I guess could be considered a pretty experimental album. It didn't have a lot of big singles on it. But at that time is when the majority of the public checked out on Pearl Jam, right? Because, you know, they were huge for those early years. And then people just kind of moved on, but a lot of people stuck with them. And that was the record where I really stuck with them because I appreciated that they, had changed their sound and kind of got a little experimental and were trying some new things. So then they came back with Yield, which was more straightforward. That's my original copy of Yield. All these I bought. Just about all of these, especially all the early stuff, I bought when they came out. I either got them from the band or got them from local record stores. And then in the later years, obviously, started getting them online a little bit. There's Binaural. Let's see what else we got. Coming up after that, you have Riot Act. Pretty underrated record. You got Lost Dogs, which is a 3 LP set of rarities and B-sides. This one's pretty hard to come by, worth a couple $100 usually if you can even find a copy, but it's got everything from bigger songs that you would know, that anyone would know, like Yellow, Ledbetter, and Last Kiss, which are two pretty big hits of theirs, but then it's got a ton of other songs where this is the only time they're released on vinyl. Some of them were B-sides and 7 inches and things like that, so Lost Dogs. You've got Live on Two Legs. This was their first official live album on vinyl, which was taken from the Yield tour. And there was a accompanying DVD as well, Touring Band, I think it was called, Touring Band 2000 maybe. So there's that. Then you've got Avocado, or Self-Titled. Love this record. Still do a couple of my favorite songs on here, including Marker in the Sand. I love Big Wave, and I especially love Comeback and Inside Job. So that is full-length stuff. Let's see, more live stuff. So this is live on 10 Legs, which was kind of like part 2 of that live series. So you've got those. Then you've got Backspacer, which this is a version I haven't even opened. I've got another version that is open. And Lightning Bolt, another cool record. And speaking of Lightning Bolt, this is the 7 inches. So I've got this, obviously the 12-inch version, and then we've got the 7s version, which is a really cool box set where they put out every song only on 7 inches. And I won't go through every one of them, but it's got the lyric booklet with it and artwork, and then each song, A and B side, they're all colored either clear, red, or black, I believe. So I'll show you a couple of these, but they're all just super cool. Here's the red ones. This is all through 10 Club. I don't think these were available to the public. I think you had to be in the fan club. So they're pretty hard to come by because, fan club members ate them up, and I don't think they were produced in large numbers. So again, the whole album, if you want to really dive in on 7 inches, just a cool collectible one that I'll definitely be holding on to. So that is the 7-inch version of Lightning Bolt. Let's keep going through these. We've got Pearl Jam live at Third Man Records. This is an incredible short live set they did and at Jack White's Third Man Records in Nashville. And the reason why it's super cool is because it's on the split translucent orange, yellow, gold, and black, which is super cool. It also comes with a Comes with a booklet, photos of that day, as well as a pen and a patch and stuff. So I've got all that stuff. This is one of the nicer packaging, which is not surprising because everything that Third Man Records does is pretty top notch. We've got the last thing Pearl Jam has put out from a live perspective, which is Let's Play 2 from the Wrigley Field shows in 2016, I think, maybe 2015, 2016. So this is a cool live set and a really great movie that you can check out. Let's see, keep going through the official releases. We've got Live at Easy Street. So this is kind of similar to Live at Third Man. It's an abbreviated set on the vinyl. This is the red version that I believe, again, was 10 Club only, I think. So they released this for Record Store Day as well on black vinyl. And then this is the 10 Club version. And they also did a wider release as well. So you can get a hold of this one. Just the red version is a little tougher because, again, it was fan club only, I think. That is Live at Easy Street. What else we got here? I think we may be up to, yes, Unplugged. So this is the official release of Unplugged. That was a Record Store Day release. Many bootleg versions exist of that, but it's nice to have a soundboard recording one. And then we will go to Gigaton, which just came out. So if you don't already have a copy of this, super cool artwork, really nice, nicely printed lyric book with just great photography all the way through it. So that's the latest Pearl Jam album as of right now. And then we get into unofficial stuff. So let me wipe the board here and we'll go with the unofficial stuff and go through the box sets. All right, so I've wiped the board of all of my official releases. Now I've got kind of some live and import stuff. The first one is Live in Chicago, 92. This is a show from the Metro, March 28th, 1992. Obviously a 10 tour. The only thing on here they didn't play that is not on 10 is State of Love and Trust, which obviously is from the single soundtrack. So cool live version, 180 gram vinyl. I'm pretty sure that's soundboard. Most of this stuff is. This one is live at the Civic Center in Pensacola, Florida, 1994. So this is getting into the Versus tour. And it's got everything from 10 as well as plenty of stuff from Versus like Dissident and Daughter and Glorified G and Blood, etc. Rearview Mirror, so pretty cool. And then another 180 gram vinyl unofficial live release. This is a really famous show, live at the Fox Theater, 94. So this was broadcast, one of the first times I'd ever experienced it being broadcast live on the radio. So I remember listening to this show being broadcast live, which was really cool and was highly bootlegged. I had it recorded on a couple different cassettes for years that I wore out. So it's cool to have a version on vinyl. It's not the entire show. It's only about 7 or 8 selected tracks, unfortunately, but it's still cool to have it. Let's see, this one is 91 in Los Angeles. So obviously very early days. And then it's got tracks from the singles movie premiere as well as the MTV broadcast of Jeremy. So a mixed bag from early days, 10 live stuff. Next, we have got Drawing Pictures on Mountaintops. This is a cool double LP from 1992, June of 92, in Zurich, Switzerland. So this is one, again, it's a double album. So you get, I think, almost the whole show here. And this is another one I had a CD version of this one. I remember because of, there's a couple improvs on this. Love You, Hate You is one of them. Meaningless is another one. So it's just a unique show. Again, it was a soundboard, and so it's cool to have it on vinyl because I used to wear that CD out back in the day, which was like a double CD that I probably paid $75 for. So crazy what those used to go for. Self-Pollution Radio. This is 95 broadcast that Eddie and the band did, and also had other bands like Mad Season, I believe Screaming Trees maybe played this one, or Soundgarden. They had just an incredible lineup of bands play these, and it was pirated radio broadcasts that they let anyone take advantage of, so any radio station across the country could get the feed, and they all did because Pearl Jam was huge at that time, so it was really popular. Five Alive, this is recorded in Newcastle, United Kingdom February of 92. This one's always cracks me up because you've got Steal, Lie, and Trust instead of State of Love and Trust. Steal, Lie, and Trust. Obviously a big Pearl Jam fan, produced down. Let's see, another famous show is Pearl Jam live in Chicago at Soldier Field in 95. So one of their most famous shows, and if you look at any list of top Pearl Jam shows, the Soldier Field show is usually on there. This one was, I think, also broadcast live on the radio, at least in the Chicago area. And there was an official vinyl release of this one that's very sought after, only a couple hundred copies. That usually goes for $400 or $500. So there's this is the unofficial version on double vinyl, which is cool. Each of those are double vinyls, I think. So it's actually 4 LPs. Yeah, 4 LPs because it is the whole show, which is kind of nice. Let's see, unofficial. This one, Building Bridges, acoustic broadcast. This is cool. I believe these all come from Neil Young's Bridge School benefits. And so you've got primarily acoustic tracks, Thin Air, Footsteps, Nothing As It Seems, Daughter, Better Man, Off He Goes. Just a ton of great acoustic stuff. I think this one might be on colored wax. Let me see. Yeah, this is on white vinyl, so double white vinyl, which is really cool. And again, I think all of the Bridge School benefits are highly bootlegged, whether it be on CD or some of them on vinyl, because they were, soundboard recordings and a little more readily available. Let's see, the last 12-inch LP I have. This is a live in Las Vegas 93 radio broadcast. I always thought the artwork was kind of cool on this one, at least different. This one's on white vinyl as well. Again, unofficial import coming out of Europe. So that's cool. And that helps me segue into the Vault series, because the first Vault series I have to show, which is right here, is the exact same show. So here's the Aladdin show that Pearl Jam officially released, which is nice to have, a soundboard recording version of it directly from the band. This is primarily, again, 10 and verses and a little Vitalogy, because this is in 93. This is November of 93, so just prior to Pearl Jam going away to do No Code. So the Vault series is not specific anymore to just fan club. You can get them, but they go pretty quick. I've got, let's see, 3 or 4 of them. This one is Seattle 93. I believe this is Key Arena, if I'm not mistaken. It's got this, there's always really cool artwork, and the packaging is really nice, and they're usually 2 or 3 LPs, because obviously Pearl Jam shows are pretty long, even in the early days. But this one features, let's see, anything unique on here? Alive Once, Footsteps, that's kind of cool. They did the trilogy, close with I Got a Feeling, Rearview Mirror, Rockin' the Free World. So cool show, hometown show for them in Seattle. Speaking of Soldier Field, so here's the 95. Did re-release it in this form too. I forgot about that because it was limited edition back in the day from a Chicago radio station, highly bootlegged, and then they finally released it officially, which was really, really cool. So it's nice to have the Soldier Field. Let's see, the last Vault I have is Baker Theater from the year 2000. So this would have been binaural, I believe. Yeah, Thin Air, Light Years, Grievance, Breaker Fall. They open with Of the Girl on this one. So again, all real similar on the artwork. Pretty cool packaging as usual. So I love the Vault series. I'm missing 2 or 3. Someone could correct me. Missing 2 or 3 of the Vault series. I need to still pick those up, but the earlier ones get pretty hard to come by. So let me wipe the board of these, and then we'll take a look at the box sets, and that'll wrap it up. All right, last but not least are I think they were called the Super Deluxe box sets. So let me set this one down. We'll go through 10 first. These were pretty, I think nowadays they're pretty hard to come by. Back when they came out, it wasn't all that difficult. I don't think they were a fan club only release. I could be wrong, but they are super impressive. And it's been a while since I've gone through these, so let's take a look. First and foremost, this is the 10 Super Deluxe. So you've got 2 different versions of 10. You have the original version, which was, this is the original version here, which was simply remastered. So the exact same The exact same version you're used to, just a remastering of it, so nothing different there. Then you've got an actual remixed version of it. So they went back, and I believe this was the 20th anniversary of 10 or something like that. And let's see, Brendan O'Brien went back and actually remixed the record. And so they're all on black vinyl, but it's actually a really nice mix. I do like it better than the original. A little less reverb than the original mix, and just a really clean mix on it. And you'll notice the artwork's different. Jeff Ament had said the reason why they did the artwork different for these deluxe, super deluxe versions is because the reason why they did the artwork a little different on the super deluxe is because it was originally supposed to be like this, is what he said, and it came out that the kind of pink red color that of course you know, but in reality it was supposed to be closer to this, which is interesting if the album would have been like that, because obviously you get used to, you know 10 is that epic red color. So that's an interesting tidbit there. This is Drop at the Park from September 20th, 1992. Again, another really famous Pearl Jam show. So it's really cool to have this one on vinyl. There is video of this show. The band tried to put it on as a free show, and the city, I think, wouldn't allow it because they thought there was going to be so many people, so they had to cancel it and redo it. So there's a bit of a story behind this one. Cypress Hill and Seaweed opened. Jim Rose Circus, I think. So just a really great live show. Everything from 10. So love that. So that's the vinyl that comes in the Super Deluxe. Then if you open up the actual box itself, it is just full of all kinds of cool stuff. So let's see if I can get this out. First and foremost, it comes with a ton of unique photography and prints. Before we even get to that, it comes with stuff. So it's got replica backstage passes, Mookie Blaylock basketball card, the original name of Pearl Jam. So again, replica backstage passes, replica tickets. So this is a replica ticket to Drop in the Park. There's just info about the box set, and then you've got some replicated postcards back in the day. Then the photographs, or the lithographs, I guess as they're called. Let's see what we have. So on these, you've got the artwork kind of logo replicated. You've got some kind of like negative sheets, probably from a recording studio. And then you've just got some really nice kind of lithographs with handwritten notes, presumably of Eddie's from back in the 10 era. So these are really cool. So this is Drop in the Park on the back of that one. There's Eddie with Pete Townsend in the background. So this is all the credits for the record. So you can see this is the bonus tracks that they included. This one is the track list for the remix version, the redo remix. Let's see. Just really cool. There's the official Dave Cruisin' on that one. Then you've got, I think, a Drop in the Park poster. 10 posters. Then you've got a huge 10 poster. This one I've never hung up. Let me see if I can get it folded out, but it would be pretty cool to get framed one day. Always makes me nervous opening these things up. Come on now. So there you go. Full artwork for 10. Obviously the alternate color. Very cool full-size poster. What else do we got? Oh, this isn't even part of it. This is just a fan club guide that I stuck in there. So then you've got a couple pieces. So replica. So if you're familiar with Pearl Jam and all, this is a replica of what Eddie would used to and probably still does. He writes all his lyrics in lyric books like this. So this is kind of a replica of one of his lyric books, and then it just goes into tons of basically a collage book of backstage passes and handwritten set lists and like stuff from their crew, itineraries, and just tons of behind the scene photos of them on stage and then behind, backstage, all kinds of stuff, drawings for t-shirts and things like that, sketches, I should say. Again, replica set list and Polaroids and guitar picks. So this scanned in a ton of cool stuff, and they stuck it all in this book. So just a really cool book to flip through. So that's cool. I'll touch on the cassette last. And then these are the CD versions as well as the DVD of Unplugged. So Unplugged's never been released on DVD either. They released it on vinyl. not long ago. This is the only version on DVD, and then you've got the same versions of the album on CD as vinyl. You've got the remaster and the remix. And then very last but not least, this is probably the coolest thing in here, which is a replica version of the original tape that started the band. So if you don't know the story, it's pretty simple that Stone had sent a tape to Eddie with instrumental music on it for a couple tracks, Alive, Footsteps, one other, I'm blanking on that last track, Once, I think. No, Alive, Footsteps, either way. And then Eddie recorded vocals and he sent it back, and that's what introduced the band to him. So they put in a replica version that's actually got the recordings of those initial demos. Never actually listened to this. You can look it up online, YouTube it, but it's pretty cool. So that's the 10 box set. I'm gonna pack this back up really quickly. So this was cool. I'm not sure if the 10 box set is still as hard to find as the Versus of Vitalogy one. They're both, they were, maybe around $150 brand new or something like that. I think they're a lot harder to find these days because they're obviously out of print. So this isn't something that Pearl Jam is still making and selling. So let me get these back in here. I think a lot of fans had hoped that they would continue the Super Deluxe box set and do a version that encompassed no code, yield, binaural, but they've never done that. They released all of those on vinyl, so you can actually get them without paying a fortune now, which is nice. But they didn't do the Super Deluxe treatment. They only did the Super Deluxe for 10, and then they did the combo for Versus and Vitalogy, which is what we'll go through next. So let me get this back in this heavy duty case here, and then we'll go through Versus and Vitalogy, which is equally as cool. So that is the 10 Super Deluxe box set. And then very last but not least is the Versus 93 and 95 Vitalogy. So this one's even bigger in regards to actual size and weight. And you've got the same thing in regards to vinyl, kind of, because you've got 3 LPs. Set that there. First LP obviously is Versus. So I'm sure that's just remastered. They didn't remix anything on this. I guess they were happier with the mix over time. Then you've got the remastered version of Vitalogy. Super clean. I've never even listened to these because I have my original copies that I've listened to. And then you've also got a live show. So this is a famous show, live at the Orpheum, Pearl Jam with Mudhoney opening. This is recorded by Brett Eliason and mixed by Brendan O'Brien. And this is Oceans, Even Flow, Sonic Reducer, Rats, Blood, Release, Tremor Cry. So really cool set list. And again, another famous show. You can get this independent of this box set because Newberry Comics did a version of this that you can get that they sold on their own. So you can grab that show if you want it. All right, and then this has a similar vibe. We've got the same thing here in regards to lithographs and kind of replica memorabilia. So let's see what's in here. All right, so same type of thing. You've actually got guitar pick, replica mirror ball, backstage pass or lanyard, Japan Tour 95. This is a cool replica Soldier Field ticket. This is really cool. I have the originals of these, not from Soldier Field, but from when they played South Park Meadows in Austin on the same tour. They look exactly like that, and then they canceled the whole tour and had to reissue them. So then you've got the same thing. You've got postcards for Go and Spin the Black Circle. What else do we have? Animal and Daughter. So really cool postcard replicas. Then you've got, I imagine this was a record store promo back in the day. So they replicated this. Looks like the vinyl was really cool. Then you've got lithographs from Versus and Vitalogy era, which are really cool. These would be really cool to frame. So you've got about 6 or 7 of those, which is really cool. I believe this is just the credits. Let's see what else we have here. So this is, oh, it's another big fold out. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is the big, so there are the credits. And then you've got another replica promotional poster. So I imagine that this is what the radio store promos look like back in the day. So that's cool that they included that. And I've never hung that one either. Only hung them back in the day, but not any of the recent stuff. So let me get this back in here and then see what else we have left, which I believe is similar notebook. Let's see, postcards go back in here. And then, all right. So last but not least, we've got another replica notebook. I love the WMA on the back. I used to have that t-shirt. So this is the same type of thing. I would call this kind of a collage book because it's got photos, drawings, lots of Polaroids. The band was notorious for taking Polaroids. Copies of show posters, just really cool stuff. So these are just cool to look through. Again, you've got all kinds of backstage passes and probably photos that have never been seen anywhere else. So super cool kind of memorabilia book. Then we have the same set of 3 CDs. So you've got Versus, Vitalogy, which is the same kind of textured sleeve, which is nice. And then also the Orpheum Show. So you've got all 3 on CD as well as the vinyl, which if you're a CD collector is cool. Last but not least, we have another cassette, and this one I haven't even opened, and this is Self Pollution Radio. So this was, again, I talked about it earlier because I had the bootleg vinyl. This is when Eddie in particular went and kind of hosted a radio show that they called Self Pollution, and they broadcast it out to everybody. There was a ton of other great bands that played, but this has got Spin the Black Circle, Satan's Bed, Not For You, Immortality. This has got Mad Season on it, and then it's got Blood, Porch, Indifference. So really cool cassette version of that, again, replica. So that is the Versus and Vitalogy box set unboxing. Any questions, just let me know. Let me know what I'm missing. I know for sure I'm missing Benaroya Hall, which is couple $1,000, which was a live acoustic show they did. So I will never own that one because I'll never pay thousands of dollars for a box set. I promise you that. I'm also missing Pearl Jam 20, which was the soundtrack that they put out to accompany the movie. So that's one I've got my eye on. I'm trying to think if there's any other. They also make a version of 10 that's called the basketball version, which it's a picture disc that it actually is orange like a basketball. It was a promotional copy or like a short run version of 10. That's pretty hard to come by, so I'd love that one. And then some of the early singles, like I mentioned, some 7-inch, some 12-inch of like Alive and Even Flow and Black and those earlier songs. Those are some of the ones I know I'm missing in my collection. Most of the recent stuff I have, again, I'm missing a few of the vaults, but that's what I've got. I don't know how many pieces that was, 50 or 60 or 70 if you count all those singles. So I'll try and pick another band and do this for, in the future. But Pearl Jam is definitely one of those artists where I have enough to actually do a video about, I guess I could say, because most bands I just have, their primary releases. But Pearl Jam is one of those where if it's on vinyl, I usually try and grab a copy of it. So appreciate you tuning in. Any comments, let me know, and we'll see you next time on Talking About Records.